And Assalamu alaikum, and it's your host Timmy Asker again on the Study Army Verdict. I have been joined today by Dr. Akbar, and I've got two more guests who should be joining us in the next moment or so. Um, just to recap, basically today was the first T20, um, and we've had a we've already got 16 overs in. So the point being that we only got 16 overs in, and the rain came. First of all, just like to say assalamu alaikum to everyone watching, and assalamu alaikum to the two guests today. Dr. How you doing?
Hello, welcome, Tom. Yeah, fine, thank you. Yeah, a bit annoyed we didn't get a full game in, but yeah, all good, thanks.
So good, Hulky. What's that? How you doing?
Salam, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. So we only got 16 overs in. On the other day we spoke about what was me, Umar, and Tanzil on the show at the time, and we actually spoke about the squads, and we had our predicted lineups. None of us got that right. I'm not going to get it right anyhow because I have Fahim in my team, which is he's not even in the squad. But none of us got the squad right, or the team right. Though Umar said something as a joke in between, and he said it'll be so Pakistan-like to pick Hafiz and Malik in the lineup. When the team was announced, I was pretty angry. And one of the reasons why I was angry, it's not because of performance and everything, but world over, T20 cricket is looked as the one that, where your youngsters come through, and they are the ones who, this is where they develop their skills here, so they can go into the ODI format. They learn their learning curve in international cricket, and here we are carrying two 40-year-olds. It just doesn't bode well, and I think it's 3 40-year-olds, to be honest, because I think if the guy is not exactly much younger than them, to be honest.
He was fielding like a 40-year-old today, anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we started off with this lineup. I think on social media it all erupted. Most people are not happy at all. Doctor, tell us about it.
Yeah, I was a bit annoyed as well. I think it's one of those. I don't mind one of Hafiz or Malik in the team. I don't mind them in and around the squad. Babar is a young captain in terms of international cricket, so to have, especially in kind of Pakistani culture, Pakistani cricket culture, you want to have some senior voices around. That's just the way it is, and it's probably the way it's always going to be. So I don't mind even one of them in the team, but to have Malik, Hafiz and Iftikhar, all three in a playing 11, when you've got batsmen like Haider Ali sitting there, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't mind if Haider fails after whatever 5 games, 10 games, and you think you need a more experienced player coming in, that's fine. But at least start with the youngster and then see what happens as time goes on. So I was a bit annoyed that they kind of started. It's almost like Hafiz and Malik have to fail again for there to be a kind of a youngster coming in the team. So that's the annoying thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to come to you in 2 minutes because Hamza's only in for a short while today. Hamza, I've got you specifically on to talk about something. You know what? Tell me about it. I mean, seriously, we've got some of the people who support them always say, "Oh, tell us about the bench strength." Well, Haider Ali, Hushdin Shawa on the bench. I'll even argue Safraz is on the bench. How?
I said this on the WhatsApp group. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, thanks. Yeah, we were saying this on the WhatsApp group that on Sky Sports, they were talking about how Joe Root might not make the starting 11 at the World Cup. Now, Joe Root's a world-class batsman, and this actually talking about him and Alex Hales not being in the 11. Who are Mohamed Hafiz and Shoaib Malik ahead of people like Alex Hales and Joe Root? In England, they're seriously discussing Joe Root, and that's a legitimate discussion, by the way, because where does he fit in? For me, I'd play him as like a 3, but I can understand him not being there. We can't even get rid of these two guys. This isn't Misbah. You know, I remember a few years ago when the whole debate was raging about Yunus Khan. Why can't he make it as an ODI player? And they kept persisting with him. And if you remember in 2015 in the World Cup in Australia, they even tried to play him as an opener. Remember that in Australia, he played as an opener. That was clearly like them desperately trying to. Now, there was actually justification for that. I didn't support it, but I can understand the decision because that is a world-class batsman, and you're desperately trying to figure out what's going on. Where is this desperation to keep playing Hafiz and Malik? The moment Hafiz was unable to bowl, that should have been the end of his career. He's a bit part cricketer. If he can make a quick little 20 or 30 with a bat and bowl 10 overs quietly for 50 runs, his selection is justified in ODIs. If he makes a quick 20 and bowls 4 overs quietly, his selection is justified in 2020s. He can't bowl, though. If you can't bowl, and a quick 20 is not good enough, you need batting at 3 or 4. He's not a pinch hitter. So why is he in the team? And Shoaib Malik, I mean, this guy's been, I call him Mr. Media. Because that's all he is. It's just a media sort of. He's a figment of Pakistan's, showbiz imagination or something. I don't know what he does. He doesn't bowl. His fielding is still decent, but he's not Jonty Rhodes. And his batting, I was on Twitter debating with someone, and people are still saying, yeah, but he can do good in Indian conditions. It's like you don't know how long these people need to fail for. And yeah, so that's just a frustration that we've got Khushdil, as Akbar said, we've got Khushdil could have played him, we've got Haider could have played him, and we've got other guys back home that aren't here. Mohamed Huraira, he was the other batsman who had a good World Cup along with Haider. He could be here. You got Hussein Talat, good left-hand batsman. You could try him as well. He's a proper batsman. Try him. There's other guys you can try, and they refuse to try any of them because they stick with these guys who have failed for so long, but they're a name. Like if you remember a few years ago, it was Cameron Akmal, couldn't drop him. Imran Farhat, couldn't drop him. It's just all these guys that just refuse to move on. And Malik and Hafiz are the last vestiges of that sort of 2010 kind of era. All of these characters that should have been dropped in 2010. Kamran, Farhat, Hafiz, Malik. And they're the last two that are left.
Yeah. Hokistan, you know what? Interesting point there, yeah. That we keep going back to the same players, and we just don't seem to learn. T20 cricket, I had a belief that it was just made for youngsters. This is a perfect platform for grooming youngsters to come through, learn the curve, and then you sort of get them ready for either ODI cricket or if they're good enough, Test cricket and Hadid, we all believe that he's going to be good enough for all formats for Pakistan. So for how long? I mean, I don't want to spend the whole show talking about them two now.
Oh, no. So, can I just say one point on what Hamza said about Shoaib Malik? People believe that he's good on various wickets, pitches, etc. Last year, before we played India in the World Cup game, that was on a Sunday. On the Saturday, I was in Manchester and I went to a talk that Misbah gave. Misbah Haq was there. He gave a talk and there was a Q&A and someone said to him that we don't think Malik should be picked tomorrow for the game. What do you think? Misbah stood there and he said, he thought about the question and then he gave the answer. He said, I think Shoaib Malik is going to be picked because he's good at playing spin. That was his answer. Now, fast forward 24 hours, we all know what happened in India with Shoaib Malik then. I think he was out for 1 or 2 runs, I think. But it just shows that in that kind of coaching bubble, they still believe for whatever reason that he can still do a job. And I've always said that whatever he did in the first 10 years of his career, he's messed up. He's ruined his legacy with whatever he did in the remaining 10 years from 2010 onwards. We saw it with Ahmed Shahzad and Umar Akmal. They kept over and over and over again. It's like, how many times are you going to watch these guys fail before you get rid of them? And it's the same thing with these two. I just can't understand it. The World Cup is in 12 months' time. Whether we go to it or not is a separate conversation, but you're supposed to be setting things up for that now. Sky Sports had it up on the screen. How many games England we're going to have 20 games England we're going to have in the run up to that tournament. They didn't show Pakistan's, but I imagine whether we have 12, 15, 20 but 12, 15, 20 games, whatever it is, you're going to be you want to be refining your team, giving them match time. But I just can't. I always try and look on the good side of things, on the positive side. I just can't understand the whole Hafiz Malik thing. And you say that it's the PSL is supposed to be a feeder into the 2020 team, isn't it? At the end of the day, but I'm just lost. I've defended Misbah and Core, for so many times. I just no idea what they're doing now. And the other problem is that because neither of them got to bat today, they're going to say, "Oh, we've got to give them a chance next time." So even if there was a thought that we'll give them 2 games and let Heather or have a game have the third game, now they're going to change tact.
They're going to go. I think they can get all 3. Doctor, I'll come to you in 1 second. 3792, same sort of thing. Why young boys Hafiz and Malik are in the team? Why? I think the questions are exactly the same. Doctor, you want to say something there?
I was just going to say quickly, just thinking from a coaching point of view, just trying to understand this decision. Do we think it is? I mean, so my kind of rationale for why I think they might have been picked, not both. I can't justify it at all. But do you think there is an element of experience, old head, when the opposition is getting away from you and they're scoring at 15 and over, you need someone to calm things down? I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm just trying to think from their point of view. Do you think that they want an old head out there to guide Babar or something? I mean, they've both probably been captain 12 times of the team anyway. So do you think that might be one reason? Because it can't be the records. It can't be the recent scores. I'm trying to think. Do you think that could be the reason? Anyone?
I'm going to let you take that.
Yeah, I think that they're both, if you think about it, they've both got a very clean record. They've never actually had a bad relationship with any administration that's come along. Whether, you think back to even Bob Woolmer, and who came after Bob Woolmer? Who's the Sri Lankan guy? What was his name? The Sri Lankan Australian.
Oh, was it? Wasn't Tom Moody? Was it?
We had Jeff Lawson as coach. Jeff Lawson.
No, Jeff Lawson, and then there was another Aussie.
Watmore.
Watmore.
Yeah, Watmore. That's it. Yeah, from Watmore. All of them. They Malik and Hafiz are very, very clever. I mean, it's not clever. It's professionalism. They're actually very professional cricketers. I'm sure they train hard. They keep good relations with the captain. So they're not actually troublemakers. If you think of people like Ahmed Shahzad and Umar Akmal, they're actually dumb. They're generally dumb cricketers. Like off the field, they don't know how to keep people happy. And in Pakistan, everything is about keeping uncle happy. So I think a lot of it is they've always been very professional and sort of handling things in a sort of proper. In Pakistan, everything's a very class thing. That's the other thing you realize. If you go back home, all of our uncles and aunties, I don't know about you guys, but they're minted back home. So they all live in that Badia town and defense. Everything's very class segregated out there. Everyone knows their place. And I think Hafiz and Malik have been very good at nurturing positive relations with every coach, every captain. They've never kicked up a fuss. Generally have been sort of quite good on Twitter and stuff like that. And so, when a birthday comes up, they're always like, "Happy birthday, captain!" All that kind of stuff. They're always sort of good boys like that. So I think every administrator that comes along, they always think, "Oh, they're a positive influence. I'll have them in the dressing room," and they just weasel their way into starting 11s all the time.
Do you think? Just quickly, sorry to come. Do you think even Mickey got fooled by that then? Because you'd think someone like an outsider like Mickey probably would see through that nonsense. Yeah. Being a straight talking South African doesn't take any nonsense from anyone. But if what you're saying, and I think you've gone to a really good point, to be honest. It seems like even Mickey got, because Mickey loves Malik and Hafiz, to be honest. Malik more, but yeah.
But again, it could just be he likes professional cricketers and he knows their name. He's an outside guy, and I'm not being funny. A lot of foreign cricketers look at people like Hafiz and Malik, and they sort of put them in a Inzamam and Yunus kind of, or they're the experienced guys coming out. It's like they're talking about Inzi or something. They're not Inzi. They're flops, you know. And like Hokistan, you made the point about Malik's first 10 years were good. Remember, Malik used to bat when he had Yunus, Yusuf, and Inzamam batting above him. When you've got those three batting above you, a quick 20 or 30 looks good. When you don't have Yunus, Yusuf, and Inzamam above you, your quick 20 or 30 means nothing. So when he had to step up, he couldn't do it, basically. After 2010-11, when those guys were gone, pretty much, he couldn't step up. And that should have been the moment we cleared him out of the way. So that's why I think they're always there, no matter what administrators there is, because they're actually very professional cricketers. It's just a pity they're talentless.
Just to sum up something there, because I'm going to try to move on from them two now. I think Doctor just mentioned Mickey. I think Mickey eventually during the World Cup he said, "You know what? Enough's enough. I need to make the change," and he made that change with Hardis coming in, and it actually nearly. I mean, that tiny little bit, we nearly got into the World Cup semi-finals. So that was a positive change. I believe strongly, anyhow, that if Mickey was still in charge, they won't be around now, because I think Mickey had seen this is the World Cup. It's over now, and I need to move into a new direction. But yeah, we're going to move on from them too, unless the comments take us straight back to them. We did have a cricket don, Fortson Iftikhar. I know he played well in Australia, but he's 29, and I'd rather have Heather and Rushdie in the team. Thoughts? He's another one. I know he had a decent Australian series, Hokistan, but again, it's like we're holding a few youngsters back right now, and we've got players that are not that great. And with Iftikhar, another thing I'll pick up, and I know you're a big critic on it, is fitness. He doesn't seem to be the most athletic person in the field.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I'm a big advocate of fitness. You know, this day and age, you know, they do things like whether it's bleep tests or anything else, fitness tests. I think during lockdown, I'm sure I saw something in the PCB on Twitter and social media that they were doing fitness tests over Zoom, over video calls. But if you can't hack the fitness test, then I can't understand what you're doing in the team. You're not going to be able to hit, as a batsman, you're not going to be able to hit boundaries, fours and sixes every ball. You're going to have to run. I'm always taken back to the Pakistan-India game at the 2015 World Cup. India are batting, Kohli's are batting, and I'm thinking after about 10, 15 minutes, I'm thinking, oh, this is awesome. They haven't scored any boundaries for about 15 minutes. I look at Kohli's score. He's on like 20, 30 runs in about 10 minutes. I'm thinking, how has he done that? It's because they're so quick at running back and forth between the wickets. And I think that's the problem. You look at, from our perspective, like cow corner, you know, the amount of times that Umar Akmal's been out there, you can't hit boundaries every ball. You have to run hard, you have to run clever. You can't do that, then, you know, if you're fielding, for example, you have to be able to support your bowlers. It's not always going to go in your favor. So yeah, if you can't cut their fitness, then I'd show them the door. I don't care who it is, Babar Azam, Amr, Shadab, whoever. You can't with fitness. See you later.
Mm-hmm. I think cricket, and that's something Mickey brought in. Fitness is very important. I think Misbah's very big on it as well. Though I've been on loads of times, and I mean more times than I've been called Imi on Twitter for a few years. There's this period I used to get called a Misbah Tard. So, but that's just because I used to back him. I'm sort of on the fence right now at his present thing. I think the errors are too glaring. Hamza, before you go, anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, what do you guys think that they'll stick with the same team for the second match?
Because I think because of the no result, I think it's come to that point where they'll just stick to the same team.
Unfortunately,
maybe Hardis. They might even just look at Hardis' 3 overs and say, "Oh, you know what, you were for too much," which is very harsh because you're holding players on for 20 years and then like you're giving people judgment after 3 overs, and that's a bit harsh. But yeah, I think they'll stick with the same team.
We've been over the years. We've been far too lenient on our seniors and far too harsh on our youngsters after a few bad games. So there's no. I would give Horace, unless something ridiculous happens, I'd give him all 3 games. If you want to kind of maybe alternate Ahmed and Wahab, I mean, they were banging on about Wahab quite a lot on TV today. I'm pretty happy if he's not in the 11. I don't have I'd almost rather put, if he's considering he's in the squad, I'd almost rather have Hasnain than Wahab. You don't. It's like Hafiz and Malik. You don't learn much from experienced players who fail again. There's no investment. There's no return in the future. They're not going to. Wahab Riaz, Malik and Hafiz are not going to win us a World Cup in India next year. They're not going to win us a World Cup in Australia in 2 years' time. Definitely not Australia, not on those pitches. So they're there and they can be used if other players are unfit, in my opinion, but not as first choice.
See, that's another problem I got with them. Hamza, I'm going to go to you before you go anyhow on that one. It's like, we've got a World Cup next year. We would have had it this year. And say if we had it this year, they probably returned around afterwards and said, well, you know what, the team needs us for another year because there's no experienced cricketers around. So we got to stay for another year. So we might have this for another 2 years now where the word experience keeps getting branded out again. So
He's too angry to talk, I think.
Well, Hassan had this one. I think Hassan might be right because we had him 79 for 2 after 10 overs, and it looked bad. And then all of a sudden we had him 131 for 6 after 16 overs. We have recovered well. Banton got the 71, though he should have gone quite early. If the guy dropped what I would call pretty straightforward slip catches at a good height.
You have to say, sorry, I mean, you've got to say that Banton played brilliantly, and there were a couple of those scoop shots that he did off Harris. One of them went for a 6, that was brilliant. No worries.
Nice to boys. I'll see you soon.
Thanks for that. One of those scoop shots he did was just brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what, Doctor, he flopped in the PSL. But we've seen it for Somerset, and today I think it was his first real big show in an England shirt. A world-class talent.
Yeah, he played the Island one-day games. I think they batted him out of position in the Island one-day games. He was down in 5 or 6. He's a brilliant player. It shows what happens if you stick with your young players. But also, if that was a World Cup semi-final and we've got 29-year-old Iftikhar at first slip, we've just dropped. You know, what a difference that could have made if we'd caught Banton, we had them 2 down early on. You can't make these kind of errors in a T20 game. You're not going to get chance after chance after chance. If you let a class player off once, they'll punish you. Banton was, as well as he ended up playing, he didn't look great early on. So you've got to take a chance. We were saying that in the first test of the test series. And I feel like we kind of missed a bit of an opportunity as well to really get into them. England could have been a lot worse than 131 for 6 had we held on to that chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But just looking at Banton as a player, as Hawkistan just picked up, some of the scoop shots, everything. I find it quite remarkable how many wicketkeeper batsmen England produce. Today they had Banton, Bairstow, and Billings playing, and then you add Butler to the list, Sam Vokes, and you think it's Sam Vokes. Yeah, it is.
Ben Folkes. Sam Vokes played for Burnley or something.
Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong. Yeah, again, like you got 5 or 6 wicketkeeper batsmen that are all capable to keep wicket and bat effectively for the team as well. That's pretty good. Let's just pick up on some of the comments and then we'll carry on. Before the match, Ian Morgan spoke about how the game is changing, but Pakistan keep the aging players. It makes no sense. Owen Morgan said it, and was it Nick Knight, Pakistan middle of the game when he spoke about Root maybe getting dropped? That's a big call for England. But then he was just saying that how they have players like Butler, Bairstow, Jason Roy to come back. Banton today, and that he's like, well, maybe Root might not have a place long term in the T20 format.
Yeah, so Hamza already spoke about the route not having a place in the team going forward. It's up for discussion, and I think it was Nick Knight, and he also mentioned that Pakistan have an experienced middle order, and he said that very politically politely. I thought he said that they've got an experienced middle order, and he obviously spoke about the World Cup in 12 months and then the other one in 24 months as well. Is that where's the vision? What are we? What do we think is going to happen in 12 months? Sorry, just looking at the comment there.
I don't know why, but both of them were laughing about you for some reason.
I don't know. Next game, I'm going to come with the full kit on. It's like
that might be a reaction to. Oh, I think that was his reaction to Cameron Akmal when you went like that.
Okay, yeah.
Earlier.
But yeah, it's the vision. It's like if let's say if you have a business, for example, you're not just going to do something short term, are you? You're going to have some sort of long term business plan, some sort of vision. It's like, where's the vision for the team here? It's not like we're just aimlessly playing 2020s all around the world. We have World Cup tournaments that we want to win, that we're expecting to do well. I think we're number fourth in the rankings at the moment as a team. Barber, yeah, everyone knows is number one. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him play today, but he's there to bring all the players together and move them forward. If you look back, 3, 4, 5 years ago, we had like some players doing really well in T20s. I mean, it was only 11 years ago when we won the tournament, right? So where's the vision? Before we started this tour, we said what a coaching staff we have: Misbah, Yunus Khan, Vakar Yunus, Mushi. Where's the vision? I just can't see it.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Saad says Hafiz with his bowling is an asset, but it's. Yeah, again, like you understand that. I was actually pro Hafiz at one stage, but that's when he used to bring his bowling to it, and I just think, you know what, as a batsman, if he gets you that 30-40, it's effective enough because, especially in the ODI format, he used to give you 10 overs for 30, 35 odd, and get you a couple of wickets as well some of the time, but. That's a long time ago.
Sorry, can Hafiz definitely not bowl now because he's banned, or is that up for trial?
I think he's available to bowl, but he hardly ever bowls him now.
Oh, okay.
I think it's one of them fears that as soon as he bowls again, he might be called.
He's been banned and unbanned so many times. I lose track of it myself. I think the latest is unbanned, but he can bowl, but he'll just get called again. He'll pick up a couple of wickets and get called. So I've got a quick question for Pakistan. Actually, do you think that there's that they don't have that long-term vision because they are fearful that if we give youngsters a go and they fail, as a coaching staff, we'll get sacked. It's like you see it in football all the time. Managers who aren't there for a very long time, they don't trust young players because they think, well, if these players fail, I'm the one who's going to get sacked. So do you almost think they're kind of just sticking with what they know for fear of their own jobs? Misbah, Bagard and all that lot?
Yeah, I think that is a really good point because we know for a fact that when this tour is over and they go back to Pakistan, there's going to be a massive inquiry as to what happened on the tour. So there's obviously something there that what's going to happen to their roles. Misbah, obviously he has 2 roles. Is he going to lose one of them? We've already heard rumors of that. Yeah, and I suppose the other thing is that, as Hamza mentioned before he left, that where Hafiz and Malik are. They're very political. They know who to schmooze. So is there a thing that if they drop them, who in the upper hierarchy are they gonna they gonna annoy, and does that person pull the strings above them? So there's a lot going on behind it that we don't know. But it is a very good point that and we've seen in the past that the captaincy's changed a lot, the coaches changed a lot as well.
Yeah, no, I was sorry. I was looking down our 11. It scares me actually, the batting. Although if we've got to chase 140, we'd be all right. But if we're in a World Cup again, I keep talking about it, but we've got to keep talking about the World Cup because there's 2 on the horizon. If we're in a World Cup semi and we're chasing 190 on a flat track, if Fugger hits one up in the air and Barber gets out to someone like Stark or whoever, Hafiz, Malik, Rizwan, Iftikhar, Shadab, Imad, which of those is going to get us to 210 or 190 or whatever? It's a worry, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Definitely is. Definitely worry. That is when I sometimes say it out on Twitter, some people say, but this ain't the World Cup. But that's what you got to look at. We're not far away from World Cup, and that's what you got to keep progressing on to. So, for example, in ODI cricket, we need to look at the next the World Cup as well. So, I mean, you don't want to sort of look too far ahead, for example. You don't want to look like all the way ahead, but you've got a plan. So eventually, when the World Cup comes, you've got a basis of 15, 16, maybe 20 players that are ready for that. That's what England did with between, say, the 2015 World Cup and 2019 World Cup. They revamped everything, but they developed enough players to go into that World Cup. And until they announced that squad when they were playing us, they had them players were battling for their place. And people like David Willey, we were discussing the other day, he was battling for his place to get in. And that's a sort of competition that we need. But at the moment, we're not seeing it because we look at a senior player and a senior player stays. Doctor, I'm going to ask you a quick question on this one, yeah? I don't blame the players on this one because I understand financial restraints and everything else. I mean, we all work for money and for them it is a job. Do you think, because our players are so much more underpaid compared to, say, England, India, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, we're on that level of, West Indies, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh in terms of pay. Do you think that is one of the reasons why players just do not retire? They want to just hold on to their position for as long as possible, and that's where the decision got to come from the management, I guess.
Yeah, I think it could be a reason. I mean, obviously, there's a lot. Obviously, if you're obviously we live in England. I've never lived long term in Pakistan. I imagine living in Pakistan, being an international cricketer, there's a lot of kind of izzat and respect that kind of goes with all that, and so that's something that maybe they want to stick with for a very long time. From a financial point of view, I think it would be a bit silly of a Pakistani cricketer looking to someone in India or Australia and comparing financially. Compare themselves to the rest of Pakistan, and they do more than all right. I mean, there's from a whatever GDP point of view, Pakistan is by no means in great shape, and so the cricketers over there are doing pretty well. So I think it would be a bit silly of them to look at other countries and monies that other people are earning. And also, a lot of these players, they do play in other leagues. I mean, a lot of them play CPL. Some of them come over and play in the Blast over here as well. So it shouldn't be, but maybe there is a kind of a financial element to it. And I'm just going to add one thing, Imi, to what you were saying about experimenting in 2020s now for the World Cup in the future. Let's be honest, apart from kind of a few hardcores, no one remembers T20 series. No one remembers kind of, was it 1-0, was it 2-1? This is the perfect time to be blooding youngsters. If we do win the World Cup, no one will remember that we lost this series 2-1 or 2-0 or whatever it might be. The South Africa T20 series last year, I would have to rack my brains to think of really hard of what the score was in that. I think we lost 2-1 or 3-0. If anyone can remember, well done. But you remember what happens in World Cups. So yeah, I guess I would definitely agree that now is the time to bring people in.
Sorry, just answer that. Help add a little bit to that question you asked. There's nothing wrong with a player wanting to carry on playing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's up to the management, to the coach, manager, whatever, to stand up and say no. The player will, if the player will always say yes, I want to play, that's absolutely fine. It's up to the manager to make the difficult decisions. If the manager ain't doing it, the manager's not fit for the job.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to quickly go through questions because if we were trying to do it, I was planning a half-an-hour show. We're going to 33 minutes, and I can see comments flying in still. Do you think having the World Cup in India has played a part in Malik and Hafiz staying in the squad? Easy pitches to battle with less pace, but they can also spin it, but would they get exposed in Australia? I guess, but the World Cup this year was supposed to be in Australia, wasn't it, anyhow? So I don't think that was probably a reason. Again, as we just say, players just do not. It's a Pakistani thing. We do not retire. Indian pitchers might just suit them because of the game they play.
Well, don't forget though. India have got some decent pace bowlers now. It's not, they aren't just kind of dust bowls everywhere like they might have been 10, 15 years ago when their quickest bowler was 72 miles an hour. They've got a decent set of fast bowlers. So even Indian conditions, I don't think I'd back them that well. Well, that
Yeah,
much.
again, like their test wickets are completely different to their limited overs. I mean, they're good batting wickets, but the fast bowlers are actually more effective than the spinners within India now. So yeah, Debbie, again, this is England. Nothing like the Indian pitches. Again, horses for courses, isn't it? You've got to play. Look at your position. Look where you're playing, and then you play them. You don't play someone because they might play well in India, for example. You just cannot be doing that. So I see that. Asif Javed, what is the obsession of good players of spin? They ain't playing in the test match. It's a freaking T20. The pitches in India are going to be absolute roads, as we just said. The pitches in India are no longer the same sort of thing, guys. I'm going to try to go through these things.
Just to sum up really quickly, because I'm sorry, I can't not say this, but in the World Cup last year, didn't Hafiz get out to, was it Maxwell in the Australia game that he got out caught a deep mid wicket? I think was it one of the Australian spinners, and was it Markram that he got out to against South Africa?
Yeah, South Africa, and I think there was one other as well.
Good players of spin. So yeah, all
right. I think Afghanistan as well, if I remember right. It was one of the spinners. So I think it was Nabi, if my memory serves me right. But I think there's 3 games he got out of spinners, and all the time it was a leg side shot.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
I think the Australia one. I remember you guys traveling and. Literally, you're all furious at the time. Oh, I didn't go to. That's the one game that I didn't go to.
We had that game. That game still keeps me awake at night because we so had that game. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I was busy that day, so I couldn't go one because of work, and I watched the first 20 overs or so, and we were getting absolutely smashed. And I got really busy at work, and I retuned in. What happened here? And we had made a decent fight back. Then we started off well, so we had this little period at the end of the Australian innings and us bowling, us batting, and then it just sort of fell over again. And that is another moment that meant that no semi-final hurts. By the way, I'll hold this time. Is my top green enough?
It's white, so we'll let you off as long as it's not the other colour.
It's got that. I mean, it's got that. I don't know which way to go right now. Malik has had his fair share of issues. Was banned during the time he got married, but his Sifarish was strong. Deb, very fair points, Hamza. This is how behind we are in the comments. Because we were just talking and not looking at the comments at the time. If they got with a stupid idea, so was Hafiz and Malik. That's by Yusuf.
Guys, we've got to have a bit of a balance. We can't play 11, 18-year-olds though. There's a little bit of experience is okay. I like I said at the start, I picked one of the 3 because you don't need 3 right arm off spinners, but. Yeah, 3 of them is too many, but yeah, we'll stop going on about Hafiz and Malik and Iftikhar.
Yeah, I think that is the end of that. I'm not gonna. Heather should have batted at 3 with Robert opening. I think we all agree on that. Tanzil said it the other day on the preview, and he said, if he doesn't play, we riot. And we made our little own WhatsApp group, me, Umar, and Tanzil that day, which was just around the show. So I was letting them know about the questions and etc. That is everything okay? These are the questions coming up. So they knew what was going to be asked. And Tanzil actually mentioned there today. He goes, "Boys, are we going now?" It was just because he wanted a riot. So. If the guy doesn't suit the T20 format, you can't even catch first of all. Again,
he got a big wicket. I know he was going for a slog sweep, but that was an important time when he got Morgan today.
Yeah, I mean, and he got a big player. In fact, who I rate one of England's finest middle order batsmen in limited overs ever. Up with Fairbrother as one of my favourites. in the middle order because he's the sort of player who I love these sort of players who can they can hit the boundaries, but as Hawkestan picked it up earlier, they have this ability to rotate rotate the strike, and they before you know it, without actually you ever noticing them, they'll be on like 30 from like 23 balls or whatever. You're like, when did you do that? And Morgan's that perfect sort of player. He does that, and and don't get me wrong, he's got the range of them big shots as well. But a very, very good cricketer. Deb, exactly. No way he's 29. No, he's not. I agree with that. Umar Cow called us Spinners Bunny. Okay. Hawkestan Bangor. This is how far back we are because we don't even know what this Bangor is about. Unpopular opinion. We're going to take this one then because whatever it is, both Sarfraz and Rizwan don't deserve to be in T20 side, at least not at number 5 or 6 position. In T20, you need a dynamic batsman rather than a pure wicketkeeper, particularly in the lower order.
I'd say that's quite a popular opinion, to be honest. I mean, I would any of you disagree? You can't have Sarfraz and Rizwan in that team. I would only have one either. I mean, that's what they did today anyway. So, popular opinion in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think he means.
So, sorry,
I think he means like Eva. I don't know if he means Eva. I don't.
Oh right.
If you're still watching, let us know. Was that Eva or do you mean both? Both can't get in there. But I think we mentioned the other day that if you're playing one of them, because they haven't got the power hitting, I was speaking to Umar and Tanzil the other day, and I said they've got about a 4 or 5 because you need them in the middle over to rotate the strike again, like that nerdler who's gonna just rotate the strike, be busy. I mean, they're not gonna come in at the end here when you're gonna need 9 runs and over and being able to clear the boundary at will. That's not their game, and it'd be unfair to actually ask them to be doing that as well.
Sorry, just on that point where we spoke about the keepers. Yeah, can I just say that Mohammad Rizwan had an amazing match again for 16 overs behind the stumps. He was brilliant, and he had that catch, and then he had the stumping as well. The commentators again were loving him. I just think the guy just doesn't put a foot wrong yet. He's amazing for cricket, and I just hope that. So I have heard that there's a lobby back home in Pakistan that wants him out of the team. I just hope that someone can stand up for the guy. He's one of the we've all gone on and on about Babar Azam and how amazing he is. Yeah, I just hope that Mohammad Rizwan is shown that path and people start getting behind him as well. He's one of the best things to happen to Pakistan cricket for a long time.
And he's young enough as well, isn't it, Doctor? He's what, 28?
Yeah, he's mid-20s. He's young in terms of international experience as well. He could be our keeper for the next 6, 7, 8 years. No problem. So I think the difference will be whereas some of these seniors who are liked or whatever, or who know how to suck up, or however you want to say it, whereas they're given lots and lots of chances. I just hope that Rizwan isn't one of these that as soon as he fails 2 or 3 times, which he will, because all players will fail. I hope it isn't right. You're out. Sarfraz back in for 3 or 4 series, because I like Sarfraz. I really like Sarfraz, but Rizwan is your number 1 at the moment and will stay number 1 until such time that he fails enough. And at the moment, thankfully, he doesn't look like failing. He's in brilliant form.
That wasn't done on purpose. You said he's here to stay, and then I went and put Royal Nazir as a future. That wasn't done on purpose.
No.
But yeah, I think was it Gregory he stumped today?
Yeah,
it wasn't it. And interestingly enough, as the ball went in, and I saw Gregory come, as he went for the shot, and I went gone. And I mean, the ball had not even passed his bat yet fully. I went gone, and Rizwan stumped him. And I went, "How did you know?" And I went, as he come out, I had this inkling he's going to miss the ball, and I had like perfect faith in Rizwan behind the stumps. And he's not going to miss this chance. He's behind the stumps.
Sorry, and that's a really important point there. You cast your mind back to 10, 12 years, we always had to take 13, 14, 15 wickets every single innings, without a doubt, right? And you just mentioned about Irada that whenever there's a catch going behind or a stumping, how do you feel now? Just like Irada, you know it's going to be taken.
dropping something, and I just sort of, as soon as I saw it happen, I saw Gregory come out and he played that shot, and I was like, gone. And it was, half a second later when Rizwan knocks off the bells.
And it's not only that, he's not just doing. I mean, that was a relatively straightforward stumping for a keeper, but we've seen Pakistani keepers miss them before. But he's even taking the half chances, like the Moeen Ali catch behind. That was no more than half or three quarters of a chance. A lot of keepers, if they drop that, you think, okay, that was a really tough chance. But he managed to take it. So he is taking ones that he's got no right taking at the moment. Yeah, he's doing brilliantly. We saw it in the Test series as well. He's been one of the big pluses from the tour.
Yeah, me and keep Wahab out the team, man. Guy is so unreliable, has been pouring limited overs for years. He didn't play today. He's in the squad. He's, I think, one of the few. I think Kashif Bhatti is another. I can't remember Safraz at the moment that have not played any games. Hasnain and obviously Heather. I think these are the guys who haven't played a single game so far. Deb agreed on Wahab. Let's move on. Chaudhry Imad. He wished me happy birthday earlier. It was my birthday yesterday. So the 27th, Pakistan now it's the 29th. And he has a joke. He said, I hope you get Malik and Hafiz as a birthday present. And it actually come true. So Kohli made an excellent point of fitness. He said the difference it makes is a few seconds to get the catch or make it easy or be slow and dive to drop it. Also, as Hawkistan mentioned, for running, it's so important. You know what? We're gonna probably do a whole show on fitness and what we believe about fitness, because Pakistanis in general underrated still. A lot of Pakistani I've seen on social media think it's all about batting and bowling and nothing really else. But whether you're batting, whether you're bowling, whether you're fielding, whatever you're doing, your fitness really matters. That's why I've been taking such good care of myself.
To all the viewers out there, yeah, just one out in there, yeah, just spend 5 minutes a day on fitness. That's all you have to do. When you get up in the morning, before you have a shower, just spend 5 minutes on something fitness. Yeah, I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference for you. And you too can one day become a professional cricketer.
No, they can't. So I don't know what that was about, but I have followed them thoroughly. Their individual will not give you much winning innings lower down the order. They just don't have those skills. I think that's again on Hafiz and Malik. I had an opinion on Hafiz at one point that if he batted and he let go of his ego, and if he dropped down the order to number 6 or 7, he would have become a very good finisher. The Champions Trophy final was one of the examples of what I sort of meant. Him coming in at the death and just letting go. But again, with age, I think all of them are just old thoughts now that just do not have any meaning left. They'll be even more experienced in 2 years. All the comments are really I don't know what to say right now. Jordan, I'm loving the competition for the place, but any chance Safraz can get a game with Rizwan being credible behind the stumps? A lot of people want to see Safraz. Safraz, as a person, is a wonderful human being, and a lot of people have this attachment to him. I don't think he's going to get a game out of this now. I think it was either he was going to start this game today or Rizwan sees all 3 games out now. And Rizwan didn't do anything wrong today. He didn't bat as well. So I can't see him getting dropped.
Just on that, though, one of the things that I've always found I've found sometimes slightly odd is, not odd, I suppose, but it's where people have a loyalty to certain player.
I had to put my daughter to sleep, so I'm back now. She's gone to bed.
It's where it's where certain people have like loyalty base to a certain player for years and years and years, and no matter what happens in the team, they think, no, I want my player to go in there. When what you should be, in actual fact, you should be supporting the team, not the players themselves. I mean, obviously, we want all 11 to do really well in the team, but when Rizwan is doing so well and everyone's been saying that for the past month and a half. Why would you want someone to replace him? I just cannot understand that. The team is benefiting from Rizwan. Why would anyone want him out for whoever it is? I can't
Karachi
understand
lobby,
that.
innit? It's
Yeah,
a Karachi lobby.
but that just proves the point that they don't care about Pakistan winning or losing. All they care about is their man going in the team in the squad, and that's just stupid.
I don't know how that developed in Pakistan because I've never seen something like that in India. I don't know what that's come from.
You see it in the West Indies a bit, don't you? But they're like, only because they're different islands. So you've got the Jamaican players or the whatever the Barbadian players, the whatever Guyana and what have you. So that's why they sometimes struggle to kind of be a cohesive unit. Sometimes, obviously, they've been great over the years.
I don't care where the player's from.
I care less.
And basically, one of the funny things, imagine that was here. Like we're all in England right now. Imagine there was like a London lobby, a Birmingham lobby, a Southampton lobby, a Manchester lobby, a Leeds lobby. Would actually be like the English people would be just laughing at it. They'll find it hilarious.
I think a lot of it has to do with the corruption in the media as well. Imran Khan's highlighted a lot of this as well, where you have political lobbies where one group of media houses are all pro the Zardari family, and then another group of media houses are all pro the Nawaz Sharif family, and they're all basically against Imran Khan right now. And so you have these sort of lobbies that quite naturally develop in the media, and they have their favorites. And you have people that were backing Cameron Atma for God knows how many years in the media. And so Shoaib Malik and Hafiz, and it's not just them two. Actually, you'd have sort of different captains doing that. Sarfraz right now.
You're on the last warning now. You've made Hogstar goal.
If you say that name again, Hamza, yeah, I'm going to come for you.
Run again. He's going. DSG Haris Rauf while initially promising, fell a little bit flat in PSL and international debut. Still very, very new for him in terms of international cricket. I can see that, but I mean, Tom Banton batted really well.
It's a batsman's game. There are going to be days when you're as a bowler in T20 cricket where you're going to come up against someone like Banton who's going to be scooping you over fine leg or scooping. Even when you put fine leg back, it still went for 6. That's just being a bowler in T20 cricket. Harris will be fine. From what I've seen him playing, was it Melbourne Stars out in Australia? I think he's got a big future ahead of him certainly in our T20 team. There might be a question coming later about him versus Naseem Shah, which I guess we'll come to in a bit. But maybe he didn't have the best PSL, but I think he'll be a brilliant bowler for us in the years to come if he's given the chance.
Yeah, and the thing to remember there is in 2 years, the 2020 World Cup is over in Australia as well, and traditionally our fast bowlers haven't done as well as we would like to, as well as we'd like to done over there. So that's something to bear in mind as well.
Yeah, I think you've got to accept a little bit of up-down form in 2020s with new guys. If they're just playing 2020s, you've got to accept a bit of up-down form.
I guess a bit of experience. But today I found that we always say that our bowlers have forgot to bowl Yorkers. But I thought he went a bit too predictable. He went for the Yorker a bit too much today. And I know it's his stock ball. He's very good at bowling the Yorker. But you can't make it too predictable against these modern batsmen because then they're going to pick you up. What used to be the perfect ball in terms of Yorker, you've got to use it well disguised. You can't use 6 Yorkers in an over anymore because these batsmen will move around the crease, they'll adjust, and as we saw Banton just scooping him over, he said, okay, if you're going to keep bowling that, I'm just going to move myself around and I'll adjust. Imad says, please also discuss Amir. Amir today wasn't great. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. In fact, he had one of the best economies, but he still wasn't great in the sense that.
When was Amir's last competitive game? Would it have been PSL probably? What, 6 months ago? 5-6 months ago? So I think he was all right. He's a kind of pretty much an 80-85 mile per hour bowler now with some variations. I was just going to say, I thought Shaheen was brilliant today. 2 overs, none for 10, I think, at the start. Should have got Banton as well. And probably would have bowled a bit more at the death. So a big plus for Shaheen. And actually, he was hitting 90-91 today. I don't think he was even that quick or as quick as that in the Test matches. I can't recall him being that quick. So I thought Shaheen bowled really well today. I don't know if you guys would agree.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think Shane bowled really well as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see what happened at the death. But just coming back to the Armour point, I thought he bowled well. I think that one of the things with Armour is that if he's not getting wickets, we're always relying on him to be economical. You know, he holds up one end, and that always helps whoever's bowling at the other end. And I think just having a look now, it was 2.1 overs, and he only gave 14 runs. Okay, that's around about 7 and over. But
run the balls okay in T20.
Yeah, that's fine. And he was coming on at the death, and we don't know what would have happened then. But I haven't got a problem with how Armour bowled today. I think he bowled fine.
Yeah, I think our expectations probably a lot higher for Ahmed. We expect him to, pick up wickets, etc., do a lot more damage. Yamin again on Bant and Shane had him on a toast, and he really did. Had him dropped as well. Then for some reason, him and Ahmed swapped ends. It was a weird decision from Barbara. I thought Barbara was a bit careless with the reviews. I actually mentioned the reviews thing to my father again. I mentioned my father again on the second time in the show today, and it was. On that second one, I actually mentioned, and I said to my dad, he needs to be a bit more proactive on the reviews, and he can't just look at the bowler every time and say, "Go on, if you said it's the review, I'll go for it." He needs to. But there was a point. I think he was fielding on the boundary himself, and Rizwan sort of started to guide where the fielder should be and everything. So it was nice to see Rizwan guiding the team around. I'm not going to say that he should be captain, even though I think he's captained that A team a few times, but that's a completely different thing. Let's keep going because we've got loads still. Zakaria, I'm trying to read these because I don't want to. There's been a few rude ones as well, which I do not want to be putting up. Ahmed's effort ball is now about 138. Now he's basically Irfan Pathan. Now I am not going to say he's Irfan Pathan. He's much better than that, isn't he, Hamza?
I think even Irfan Pathan, well, I say even, in the last couple of years of his career, he was barely touching 130. So, yeah, that's a bit harsh comparing Amir to Pathan.
The Mourinho of coaches, wow. Short-term results, priority over long-term player development. LPL.
IPL.
I don't know what LPL. No, I don't think it's IPL. I think it's LP. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, I think that means LOL. I think there's a LOL gone wrong.
Okay.
Again, I think that goes back to the two legends. The decision should always be the management. Again, that's all on that again. Hafiz and Malik have no financial concerns. Hafiz is a shrewd businessman and has plenty of properties, and Malik, we all know, has plenty beyond cricket. Spot on Holkistan. Riz, Slamakum brothers. Riz, we need you on the show, man. I haven't had you yet. I need you here, my Habibi. So maybe Barbara wanted Malik and Hafiz. There's not much left. Oh, we've lost him again. He's in and out today.
Maybe his daughter's woken up.
Yeah, he looked that way. He just run.
Yeah.
So the old boys need to go. Zachary again. He's got out to Majid cutting Finch, slob sweeping.
Finch. Jeez, Finch. It's even worse than Maxwell.
Williamson as well. I completely forgot about that one. At the New Zealand game.
Yeah, Edgbaston.
Sorry, I just moved my laptop because I was sitting. I wasn't leaning on anything. My back's hurting now. An hour later. It looks like an England top. Pakistani test. Oh, come on. I can't judge this. There.
Look, Imi, shall I judge it for you? This is what you call a Pakistan top, mate.
Oh, you see,
by the way, our kit, thumbs up. I quite like our kit. I know people are a bit annoyed because the stars where it shouldn't be, but apart from that, I quite like. It reminds me of the.
Doctor, The doctor, let's just go back to what you said. The start is where it shouldn't. Where it shouldn't be. I think that's it. You don't need to say anything else there. They can have anything else on it. But just that.
Untucked. It didn't look too bad, did it?
Well,
Untucked.
they had with the star, you've got one job, which is basically just put it somewhere where you can see it and not, a little bit higher up.
Always takes priority, the sponsor is where the money comes from. So
Easy best, isn't it? That's what happens with this sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's disrespectful to have the star tucked in there, isn't it? Really? And you think that it says that in Urdu Pakistan, yeah, half of it's tucked in, yeah. What is left in Urdu that it says there? It's just completely. I didn't like it.
Image, you want me to lend you a Pakistan top? Deb, this is a Pakistan.
Yes, please, Deb.
Guess what? And guess how unique I am. I just realised that basically in all the test matches, I was wearing our T20 and ODI tops, and now that the T20s have started, for some strange reason, I put on that test top today. So, Imi Bhai, you haven't talked about Tariq ke sabse menga tarin CEO Wasim Khan's salary. What kind of show is this? He says it in every show. I mean, we haven't spoke about Wasim Khan's salary. I think we need a whole show about this. Sorry?
I'm presuming this is someone who's not a fan of Wasim Khan?
No, he's joking that, I think he's making a mockery of the Pakistani.
Right. Yeah.
Talking about Wasim Khan's salary. Guys, I don't know if you lot have read it yet or not, but Amir Malik on Twitter, I'll retweet and share it again. And he interviewed Wasim Khan. A very, very good read. Very interesting interview. And something that most journalists, especially in Pakistan, can learn from. This is how you conduct an interview. And this is how you space one out. Absolutely brilliant. He's unique here, Hamza. He leaves that, he starts making comments. What would your ideal T20 be? We've already discussed that with you, Hamza. We're not going into that now. Haris
like opening with Iftikhar at 3. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And let's get Misbah and because they've been in the bubble, they can come out and bat. Haris Rauf and Naseem Shah, what do you think has a better potential in T20 cricket? I'm going to let you both answer that. First, you, Doctor.
I've seen more of Haris in T20 cricket. I think he's got more experience so far. So at the moment, Haris looks a better bet. It's difficult with Naseem being as young as he is, however young we're going to say he is. I don't want him doing kind of too many things and kind of because sometimes, we were talking about Joe Root. Okay, so Joe Root's test form has probably suffered because he's trying to be a T20 player. I wouldn't want Naseem's test form to suffer because he's trying to bowl too many variations, slower balls, Yorkers, slower ball bouncers, all that kind of stuff in T20 cricket. So at the moment, probably I would say Haris has got more potential in T20 cricket. I'm happy to let Naseem be a test bowler because what I don't want is for Naseem to lose his test form and then Sohail Khan and Mohammad Talha and others start coming back into the test team. So probably Haris for me. That was a long answer. Hulk, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's always easier for a batsman to play 3 formats than it is for a bowler because of the stress on the bowler's body. So
was a good point.
Yeah, I think we've lost him somewhere down the line. I think the load shedding's hitting London as well now. By the way, seeing what's happening in Karachi right now, thoughts and prayers are with everyone. It's really, really sad. In this day and age, something like that should definitely not be happening, but it is. May Allah be at their rescue because I just don't see any human powers helping them at the moment. How can this show be complete without appreciating Shadab getting 50 wickets? I actually missed that, and it was his 36th wicket since the 1st of January 2018, which is pretty good. Yes, he goes for runs, but he always gets wickets, and that's why I would always pick him. He gets a lot of hatred from a lot of people because people look at, he goes for runs. You know what? I'll be happy to see him go for runs. If he can go and get all the wickets for me every time, you know what? That'll be effective enough.
He got Banton today, so 71 off 42 could have been 110 off 60 if he hadn't got Banton. So yeah, he gets wickets, he gets big wickets, and he's got a bit of fight about him. He's a feisty guy, and we need that in our team sometimes. I think we're a bit timid sometimes.
Yeah, when he got the second wicket, I mean, he really did. He went into a little, as you say, a feisty little bit. I mean,
good.
Very up. What do you mean media were backing Kamran Akmal? They still are. I think that they will until eternity. We need to move on sometimes. Haris is our version of Malinga. I wanted to see in ODI cricket too. You know what? We need to back him. He has the talent. He has the game. So we need to back him.
I'm just trying to think when our next ODIs would be. Probably that. The Zimbabwe tour that's being arranged. I guess there's going to be some ODIs and T20s there, aren't there? So yeah, maybe.
Actually, I'm so bad, but I can carry a fixture list on my phone all the time. Here we are. We've got 40 eyes and 3 T20s against South Africa in October. But if that series goes ahead.
Yeah.
But that's the FTP. Then we've got 3 against New Zealand. Zimbabwe. And 3 T20s. And then against New Zealand, we've got 2 tests of 3 T20s. So we've got a few ODIs this year. Depends if got Hawkstone back. Again, it totally depends. Okay, a point of shine. First time after a long time, I saw a bowler who inside power play bowled a bouncer, Yorker and slow ball in the over. As we said, he bowled really well. And he didn't look that threatening in Test cricket, but with the white ball game, that shine showed up again. So a bit of inexperience and everything with the red ball in these conditions. We mentioned that the other day, maybe the Duke ball in these conditions, maybe he was trying for too much, maybe going for the magic ball every ball. And he was a bit unlucky at times as well. I mean, sometimes he bowls really well. The results just weren't coming. We're trying to finish this off now in the next 5 minutes because it's been a long show. Despite, I mean, we've still got a decent amount of people watching. Haris was a professional tape bowler. In Bindi, there's only Yorkers and slow balls in. Yeah, that's what happens. I think Sohail Tanveer was another one like that. If I remember right, I heard about Sohail Tanveer as well and Haris, that people used to pay them to play tape ball cricket tournaments. And they'll pay them, and they'll go and win the tournament for them. And the people would punt on paying them, so they can go and get the prize money for the whole tournament. And more often than not, it will always work because as a bowler, they were just unplayable. So whether that's true or not, I've heard that story a few times. Bobber stands on long on off. I think he's relying on risk for them. Yeah, I think I just mentioned that a little while ago. It's not green enough for Hulk, my top. Hafiz got out to Markham as well. Yes. Hulk, you paid the Wi-Fi bill. Ooh.
It's technical issues, but the battery ran out on my laptop. I had to run upstairs to get the charger.
I've got a quick question. Sorry, just a quick question before, because Zakaria really is going in strong on Hafiz in a second. We'll get to that in a moment. But who would you have at first slip from the 11? Because when I saw Iftikhar at first slip, I thought, hold on, that just doesn't look right. He shouldn't be, because obviously we're talking about Barber being at whatever long on, long off. Who should be first slip from that 11 today? I'm looking down the 11. I'm trying to think who I'd want there.
The captain could be there. That's an ideal position to be judging what's happening.
Yeah. Sorry, in the test, wasn't Barber? I'm sure Barber was in the slip, wasn't he?
But wasn't it Iftikhar that dropped Banton though?
Oh no, yeah. I know it's Iftikhar that dropped Banton, but we're talking about who would be in first slip. I'm sure Barber was in the slip cordon in the test series, wasn't he?
Oh, test. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry. I think he was. So
so maybe he should be there. And I think he says it'd be an ideal place for him to judge what's happening and being the captain and stuff as well.
And the other person, maybe Hafiz. He's pretty reliable, at least as a catching. and obviously it saves him on the.
He's dropped a few off Ahmed over the past. I just have these visions of Hafiz dropping so many off Ahmed over the past few years. I'd rather.
Maybe I'm just thinking about the old legs just not running around enough.
Yeah.
That's the figure. Was that? That's the figure. How could I forget Markram? He also got a Demendi. Yeah, I think we've covered all that now. He still plays ball cricket at Ewell Park, Pindi. See, a lot of people still mention that so then we still gets paid to play tape ball cricket and win tournaments because that basically they punt on it and say, you know what, if the prize winning fund is like 60 or 70,000 Pakistani rupees, I don't know, I'm just making it up, and they say to certain we will give you 20,000. They bank on it because they think he's going to win it anyhow. So regardless, if we pay him, we're still money in sort of thing. They're playing the lottery with Sohail Tanveer.
2007 vibes now with Sohail Tanveer. That takes me back to 2007, 2008. Tanveer, Umar Gul, Saeed Ajmal. That's when we had a brilliant bowling attack.
He does it in test and can influence. As we just picked up. Again, it's Barbara. Guys, that's me done for the day. My little boy's trying to get in the room as well. Now he wants to sleep, and I'm in his room. So I'm going to do a Hamza as well. And we're going to love and leave everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, guys, for joining me as well. Really appreciate it, Pakistan and Dr. Akbar. I really do appreciate you guys always making time and joining me. And especially today, because I didn't think I was going to do the show, especially once it got called off. But and it was actually quite a successful one.
It's almost as if they picked that team so that we could have something to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you changed top as well. Let's come back.
I've changed it, right?
Right. And so that's that. Next game's on Tuesday.
Sunday.
Sunday, the daytime game. So we might do the show a little bit more in daylight hours towards Pakistan time, or it'll be like evening-ish rather than late night. So we'll try to do an earlier one. It might depend on if we get permission from in my case anyhow, if I get a permission slip signed from the missus. So we'll see. But we'll try to do an early one. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you. God bless. Assalamu alaikum and Pakistan. Zindabad.